Eagle Square, Abuja, for the special national convention of the People's Democratic Party. After the concerns over the last elections, the party says it has put everything in place to make this event a flawless one.
We have 74 cubicles. Each has 2 voting areas. We are going to vote simultaneously. All the states will vote at the same time.
It was soon time to vote. The elections over, the sorting of the ballot papers began. And after the votes were counted, the results were announced.
Deputy National Chairman of the Great Democratic People's Party, the greatest party in Africa, Uche Secondus.
With some delegates still waiting and the leaders of the party watching, the new officials, including some who were re-elected, were sworn in.
I do solemnly swear and affirm that I shall be faithful and bear true allegiance to the People's Democratic Party.
The convention has now come to an end with the swearing in of the new members of the National Working Committee, and one will say the new leadership really has a lot to do as the party prepares for the governorship election in Anambra State and begins preparation for the 2015 election. From the Eagle Square, Land Rail Assisi, Channels Television News.
This special convention of the People's Democratic Party is being held on the day the party marks its 14th year of formation, and it appears all is not well within the party. These governors and party chieftains had stormed out of the special convention of the party alongside their supporters. The aggrieved members listed their grouses with the leadership of the party.
It has become very clear that the desperate permutations towards the 2015 general elections have blinded certain people from the consequences of their actions. Not only has the constitution of the party been severely violated, all the organs of the party have been rendered virtually ineffectual by people who act as though above the law.
The country is full of frustration, is full of anger, is full of disappointment. Therefore, we have a responsibility to pause, drop back, and see how we can reform our great party so that those lofty ideals, lofty goals can be achieved.
In the light of their unresolved grievances, these members are floating a parallel leadership of the party. The factional national chairman of the party announced that they are fighting for the survival of the PDP by taking over the leadership.
As we take over the leadership of PDP, our immediate priority is to revive. Our immediate priority is to revive the culture of robust debates of all contending issues, while providing a level playing field for all our members.
In the past, the party may have appeared invisible to any form of splinter groups in view of the several challenges it has gone through over the years. But this latest twist indicates that there is a tough road ahead for the ruling party. Prt1, Channels Television News.
All right, so there you have it. That's the focus today on Sunrise Daily. We're joined now by Mr. George Eke, who is a legal practitioner and the public affairs analyst. Morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, to some people, that was a shock. To some others, they think, nah, don't worry, these chaps know how to sort some of these things out. But from what you saw, what do you think?
Well, for people who saw it as a shock, I think they probably were not reading the political contours of the recent events. When PDM was registered, you realize that initially INEC denied knowledge or at least possession of such a registration request. 2 days after, they got registered. And the journalist asked Atiku if it was his party. He said, no, he's still in PDP, but that he cannot prevent his associates from forming a political party. I got worried. And I know any other person who is watching the political scenario in Nigeria should get worried with that. If you know the history of PDM, you notice that PDM is actually the nucleus of PDP. That's how PDP was formed. And it was the struggle for the heart of PDM that was the issue between Obasanjo and Atiku. Indeed, it was the PDM that made Obasanjo. And it was when Atiku wanted to take the instrumentality or at least the structure of PDM to get into office during Obasanjo's second term that that problem came up. At last, Obasanjo had to take, of course, you know that PDM is a structure that was developed by Umaru Shehu Yar'Adua. That is, Shehu Yar'Adua, that is Umaru Yar'Adua's elder brother. Obasanjo had to take somebody from Yar'Adua's family, and that destabilized Atiku. I'm trying to tell you how the relevance of this PDM. Because PDM is by the corner. Atiku is in PDP. Alhaji Ibrahim is the chairman of PDM, and he is a close associate of Atiku. Of course. And when you notice that when that workout took place, a few hours after they held a press conference, PDM was the first to congratulate them for being courageous. So, in other words, having painted this scenario, I am not surprised that this happened. Especially when the 5 governors have been consulting all over the country. Consulting without talking to Jonathan at that point in time. Of course, you knew that some people were aggrieved. But you see, there's something the PDP does that I think is not particularly good. They don't monitor the pulse of their party members. When they are aggrieved, the National Working Committee has a way of almost like a headmaster kind of use the whip, and it's either you expel, you suspend.
Maybe that they monitor, but they really don't pander to it.
Oh, well, you see, a particular lecturer told us that you need to be tensed up once in a while. You know, if you must pass your exam, you need some level of anxiety. So for you to be able to face a particular challenge, you need some level of anxiety. You have to be able to worry about.
Credited to Bamanga Tuko was that, well, what they wanted to do was, when they break away, they also wanted to get members of the National Assembly to go to defect with them, and that the party will resist this. So that comes from, that sounds as though he knows something much more than maybe people think. You
see, resistance is not, I mean, these are voluntary.
No, in terms of filling the polls,
yes,
and knowing what is being said or being done,
yes,
some of what is being done out there.
Yes. But then if you just oppose, or at least compare this particular impression or this statement with the statement he made later, that these governors were part of the people who were with the president greeting people and journalists, that shows you that he was surprised that the same governors that were with the president generally acknowledging chairs and greeting people and all of that were the same people who hours later now formed a faction of PDP. In other words, that shows surprise that he was not really monitoring what they were doing. I think the party began to have some kind of intelligence unit where members the activities of members are monitored quietly, so that you know what happens, what assignment to give to people and what trust to bestow on certain people. But above all of this, you see, the chairman of BOT has a lot of job to do now. It's not a job for the boys. And this is one time I have commended, the activities, or at least the